Hello everybody and welcome to That's Football, and have we got a transfer action-packed show for you today involving the top clubs in the Premier League, strikers as well. We will be talking about Chelsea, Liverpool, but let's start off with Arsenal. Now, this is a player I know a lot about, Benjamin Sesko. It's a player that Man United have been linked to numerous times, but apparently, according to reports in the last 24 hours, he would prefer a move to Arsenal. Arsenal are very interested, and of course, Arsenal do need to bring a striker in. Interesting though, because when I look at Sesko, I'm not saying he's similar to Havertz. He is actually a striker, but he's not super fast. He's tall. He's technically good. And is that not what Havertz is all about anyway? So is Sesko the right sort of striker for Arsenal? That's my initial thought. When I look at Manchester United, Sesko, Højlund, very different types of strikers. Havertz, Sesko, not saying they're the same, but there are similarities where I would say maybe for Arsenal, a more direct, a more, fox in the box, instinctive, quicker striker might be what Arsenal are looking for. But then again, if you're playing a certain style of football and you want to take Havertz off and bring Sesko on, or likewise, it's a similar style of football, I suppose. Around sort of 50 to 60 million pounds is what it would cost from Leipzig. And apparently Arsenal are leading the race. So let us know what your thoughts are on that one. Look, he's a good striker. Sesko feels like he's been around for ages as well. I think he's only 20, 21. He'll be playing in the Euros, of course. 6'5", I think. So he gives you that aerial dynamic as well. And look, I would not be surprised if Arsenal did this or did another deal like this very, very quickly, because one thing Arsenal have done very, very efficiently over the last couple of years is get their transfer business done and get on with taking the next step. And I remember talking about Arsenal a couple of years ago and saying that when they fought for the title before last season, and I said they're way ahead of schedule doing this, because when you look at Man City, they've got a second 11, and Arsenal haven't even finished their first team yet, and then they've got to do the bench. Well, I think last season they had their first team, and I think they'd started to build their bench out. I think, again, it's about depth. Arteta, Arsenal fans know this already. It's about depth. It's about the ability to do it all season. You can't drop points. So I think that's what we'll see Arsenal do this summer. Let's talk about Liverpool very, very quickly. I am just intrigued to see what's going to happen at Liverpool. New manager in slot, Michael Edwards coming back as technical director, sporting director, whatever you want to call it. And obviously Jurgen Klopp has departed now. The long goodbye is over. It's a new dawn at Anfield. And reports today coming out that Saudi League looking at Liverpool players again. It's happened before. We've seen Fabinho go there. We've seen Henderson go there. Apparently they're looking at Joe Gomez and Luis Diaz now. We know that Salah, they're a long admirer of him. I think the interesting thing with Liverpool is going to be what actually happens with their players and their transfers. I mean, look, the season's not that long over. We've got the Euros on the horizon. Check out That's Football for that. Make sure you smash a like and subscribe. We're going to be doing every game as a watch along. Very excited about that. 2 weeks today it starts against Germany and Scotland. But I also think the transfer window is fascinating, this summer transfer window. You've got Chelsea with a new manager. You've got Arsenal looking to go again. Man City will do something. Liverpool, massively interesting, as we said. And then you've got the likes of Newcastle, Aston Villa, Spurs, Manchester United, and others who will be looking to close that gap on those ahead. But Liverpool's an interesting one. I don't know what the financial situation is at Liverpool. I don't know whether if they keep everybody, how much they can spend. This was always a frustration for Klopp, really, having to battle the likes of Man City and Arsenal to a certain extent, who seem to have, certainly Man City, more funds. But there might be people who quite fancy that move as well, now that Jurgen Klopp has gone. I can't see Joe Gomez going to the Saudi League. I mean, that one was really weird. But Diaz has been linked with an exit from Liverpool for quite a while now, which I find weird, because I think he's a good player who's had injury and off-field problems, and it seems weird to me. Maybe Liverpool fans can tell us what that's all about. But there's still the uncertainty around Mo Salah. There's been talk of Van Dijk. There's been talk of even Trent Alexander-Arnold, who's not got long left on his contract. So I think Liverpool are going to be a really interesting team to watch next season. No Jurgen Klopp will be weird. Do they hit the ground running? Is there a transition? But the more of those senior players that they can keep hold of, the better their chances. Because when you've got Virgil van Dijk and Andy Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold and Mo Salah and Alisson and players like that, that's half a team. And you've got people like McAllister a year in, Szoboszlai, the players that Klopp had brought in a year ago. They can still be a really good team next year. But I think the key is going to be what they do ins and outs in relation to the transfer window. And we did talk about Chelsea. Well, look, I don't want to disappoint Chelsea fans, but it's probably stating the bleeding obvious. Victor Osimhen, a Lukaku deal won't be happening. I forget that Lukaku is still even a Chelsea player. But where will Victor Osimhen actually end up this summer? Get your comments in. I've always felt he's going to PSG. With Kylian Mbappe going, and the wide talent that they've got, and the fact that Ramos hasn't really settled in from Benfica, I think they will spend a significant amount on Victor Osimhen and take him to PSG. I've always imagined him in a PSG shirt, and I think that's where he's going to go. Although there has been rumours that he'd go to Saudi, which for me would be disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Victor Osimhen is a player who's had quite a quiet season, to be fair, because Napoli obviously had that great season the year before. They were the Leverkusen the year before, really, the big team in Europe. But 25 years of age, Victor Osimhen should not be going to the Saudi League to earn a load of money. But I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens with it. But do I see him coming to the Premier League? I can't really see where he'd go. Man City could afford it, but they won't do it with Erling Haaland. Man United can't afford it. Chelsea can't afford it. Liverpool won't go for that type of player either. I mean, he would be very, 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 very good for Arsenal. He'd be a brilliant striker for Arsenal, but Arsenal, that would be a significant outlay for them to do that. So I don't think he's going to come to the Premier League. He is a player that Chelsea have been linked to for a very long time. And I look at that £1 billion that Chelsea spent, and the only striker they bought in was Jackson. And I just don't understand it. Why spend £100 million on the players that they did, like Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez, and multiple tens of millions of pounds on loads of defenders, when you could have just gone and knocked on Napoli's door and said, there's £100 million and negotiate Victor Osimhen? It's a weird one to me because goals win games. And over the last couple of years, Chelsea's big problem has been scoring goals. But apparently Victor Osimhen won't be happening. And to be honest with you, you'd have to question how it would happen anyway. Chelsea, I think this transfer window is going to be really interesting to understand how people are going to operate. We've heard that Chelsea will need to sell to buy. There's talk of Chalobah now. Gallagher rumours never seem to go away. But they've got a new manager and they'll want to spend. And one thing Chelsea have been is creative and never really in trouble of being, points deducted or anything else like that. And they're very confident that that won't happen. So new manager surely means new signings, unless he's coming in as a puppet who's just going to work with what he's got. But Osimhen in the Premier League looks unlikely. I think he'll go to Paris. I really do. Anyway, get your comments in below. Also, would like you to get in the comments anyway. We will be reacting to transfer stuff throughout the summer, but let us know in the chat what shock transfer you think might happen this summer. Now, look, shock transfer is not going to be Brentford signing a Millwall striker. We're talking about someone coming into the Premier League for a big fee, or, an established player like Kimmich coming into the Premier League would be a shock, or a player leaving. Could Mo Salah go? Let us know your comments on that one. It'll be very interesting to see. Thanks everyone for watching. Make sure you smash a like and subscribe. Don't forget, we've got the Champions League watch along tomorrow night as well. Looking forward to that. Take care. Speak to you all soon.